Good morning, it's Karen, and what better way to celebrate my July birthday than to tell you what are some of my favorite books. The most difficult thing that I have found about starting a channel is really you're establishing from nothing. People don't know what your reading tastes are, even though I've been a reader since I was a child. It's incredibly hard to encapsulate who I am as a reader. So I'm hoping this will give you a little bit of a taste. These are some of my childhood favorites, some of my teen favorites, some of my young adult favorites, and leading up to now. So I'm hoping this gives you a little bit of a broad look, as well as maybe pique your interest in reading some newfound treasures. All right, let's start with childhood. And the first book I have is On Fortune's Wheel by Cynthia Voigt. I think I read this one first when I was a teen, and this is one that is about a young girl, Beryl, who works at an inn, and she feels like there's something more to life, but she's not sure what. And one day she comes across this man who's trying to steal a boat. She tries to stop him, and for some reason, they end up on the boat together, and they kind of have this intertwining adventure. It's absolutely lovely. And please pay attention to the title, because what comes around goes around. This is probably one of the books on this stack that I've read the most, and that is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is absolutely lovely. This, I guess you would call a modern classic. It is a girl and her diary entries as she tries to capture the moments of her and her family as they live in this sort of dilapidated castle that her father has bought. Her father is an incredibly famous author known for one book, and everybody is constantly asking, when is he going to output his next book? And she really doesn't know. And it's kind of the story of her and her sisters and how everything just like, it's a very slice of life kind of book, but it's got some beautiful storytelling in it and some wonderful moments, and it always gives me cozy feelings whenever I read it. When I was early 20s, I was really into reading books about China, history, anything really I could gobble up I would read. And this was one of those formative books for me, and it's Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. This is a beautiful tale of two young women as they go through life as young wives, young mothers, and it's their friendship, really truly, that is the center of this book, and how they both go through very tremendous things, and they're still able to communicate back and forth with this secret language that only women knew how to write. It was a sort of simplified version of Chinese, and it was kind of like a little code back and forth, and I really like friendship stories. While I was in that phase, I read this one book called Rivertown, 2 Years on the Yangtze River by Peter Hessler, and it inspired me. I really, really wanted to go and teach in China after reading this book. This is a memoir by Peter himself as he goes to teach English in China, and he is able to give you both personal stories while also some historical context of that area in China where he ends up teaching. It is a wonderfully told story. I think I read this one twice back to back, and I credit it for really inspiring me to teach. For those of you who love the fantasy and love them thick and big and in series, I'm going to recommend The Red Knight. This is the Trader Sun cycle. There are 5 books in this cycle by Miles Cameron, and it is absolutely glorious and absolutely wonderful. I am in the middle of the 4th book, and I am enjoying it just as much as I enjoyed the first book. This is a book about a mercenary knight. He's got this troop, he's known as the Red Knight, and he's got this troop of mercenaries, and they kind of go from place to place. And the story setup is that he goes to a nunnery that's being attacked by wyverns. I think that's the thing that sold me, was the idea of this mercenary going and fighting dragons and saving nuns. It's not really exactly what it's about, but who cares? Like, it's delightful. There's wild magic. There are, oh my goodness, social complications going on in the capital. There's like intertwined people. There's scandals galore. Like, it's just this beautiful slow reveal. It continues to reveal absolutely everything, and it's just a wild ride. If you like action, if you like political drama, you're gonna love this. The thing about Miles Cameron that I absolutely love is that he is a reenactor. So when he's talking about armor and he's talking about battles, he knows exactly what he's talking about. So if you really want your authenticity, read Miles Cameron. Okay, I can't go a video without mentioning Charles Williams, who's like amazing for me. Charles Williams writes metaphysical, sometimes he's categorized as theological, which I get because he does explore good and evil quite a lot. And I couldn't decide. There's Descent into Hell and The Place of the Lion. The Place of the Lion is his most famous one, and probably I would recommend this is where you start. But if you want something that's gonna really make you think, Descent into Hell. It has the most profound ending, and it has the most wonderful characters. My only critique of Charles Williams is that he tends to use his characters as sort of idea pieces. So you're not going to get a complete whole person. His characters sometimes feel a little bit cardboard because they're a vehicle for him trying to explore a particular idea. So if you're more on the idea side of a reader, these are definitely idea books. Spooky season's coming up, and I first read this book in October, and it was perfection, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. There was something about this writing, there was something about the darkness, the creepiness, the underlying chill of it all that really got me. I have read this book several times since. I absolutely adore it. This is about a woman who meets this man, Maxime de Winter, and he has this beautiful, beautiful house. And he also has an ex-wife who died under strange circumstances. And this narrator ends up falling for this man, and he marries her, and they go back to the house, and then it's just, there's very odd things going on. There's lots of mentions about Rebecca, and we're not exactly sure what's going on. Another favorite was one that I had had on my TBR for years and years and years, and finally I picked it up with G's Magical Readathon years and years ago, and that is Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth. This is a Rapunzel retelling, but it is oh so much more than that. It is absolutely beautifully told. I have read other books by Kate Forsyth. I am trying to find some other ones because her style of writing, her characters, the way she explores traumas, the way she explores history is absolutely incredible. And please, if you love retellings, read this one. And the last one that I'm going to end with, I also read for another one of the Magical Readathons, and that was to read a book with a heart on the cover. And it was absolutely so hard to find something with a heart on the cover. And then I remembered I had this little gem, and I had been avoiding this one for years and years and years, and then it became a favorite. This is The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson. This one is about a man who gets in a car crash, and he is severely injured. He's got burns everywhere. He considers himself the gargoyle. And this woman starts to visit him. And she seems to be this otherworldly eccentric who swoops in at the time that he needs. And she's kind of this angel, but she's kind of strange, and she's kind of unhinged, and he's not really sure what's going on with her, but she's the only thing he's got. There are also flashbacks in time that weave throughout this main story, And it ties everything together in such an incredible way that if you absolutely love those stories where the past hundreds of years ago reflect on the future, then this is the book for you. If you love beautiful storytelling, read this. I will warn you, the first chapter I remember reading and I was not really ready for it. It is very intense. It's got the car crash and it's got him in pain and he's in the hospital and there's a lot of hospital talk. So if that's something that you're not really into for the intensity, avoid this one for now. If that's something that you could be interested in, take this one up. And that's it. I hope you find your next favorite read in and amongst some of those that I have recommended. If you like what I do here, please like, subscribe. I try to post every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. I'm the Book Librenaut. I like exploring books, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.